Hello again. We are most of us quite used now to having black people cast into white roles in films and plays. This has become so common now that we don't bat an eyelid when the four children in a recent production of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe are all black. It really is time though to protest when there are complaints from black people about a white man being cast as a white man in a film version of a famous Victorian novel. There is a considerable stir in the last few days about a new version of Wuthering Heights which is being made, and in which Heathcliff is to be played by a white man. Various newspapers have covered this supposed controversy, and in the description to this video I give a link to a piece from the Metro newspaper, which is the one handed out free in the morning to commuters in London. The article is written by a black woman and headed, "Hollywood is still making the same appalling mistake in 2024. What, you ask, is the appalling mistake that Hollywood is still making? It is in assuming that Heathcliff in the novel Wuthering Heights is actually white. As it happens, we know that he is without a shadow of a doubt, point to which I shall return in a moment. Let's see what this woman has to say on the matter first. She described Heathcliff as a famously non-white character, and then goes on to state that, and I quote, "Even a cursory search on Google will point to Bronte's Heathcliff being a person of colour, so why is he being represented by a white actor?" Well, rather than searching Google, it might be an even better idea to search the novel itself, which I fortunately happen to have here. Let's just consider a couple of sentences to see if Heathcliff really is a non-white and a person of colour. Right, this is the beginning of chapter 3. Heathcliff stood near the entrance in his shirt and trousers, with a candle dripping over his fingers and his face as white as the wall behind him. Have any readers ever seen the face of a person of colour turn white? Seriously, does this sound like a non-white person when Bronte has specifically described him as white? Do black people or Indians turn white? One rather doubts it. What about this on the first page of chapter 34? Heathcliff stood at the open door. He was pale and he trembled. Have any viewers ever seen a pale black man or a pale Indian? How likely is it that this has really been written about a person of colour? The problem is, you see, that Heathcliff is said to have black hair, and some of the characters in the novel describe him as being like a gypsy. This is used as a pejorative term, though there's no suggestion that he's anything other than a white person. We have grown used to seeing black people inserted into dramatisations of old and familiar English novels by Dickens and the Brontes, which most of us tolerate. But it is, I think, going a bit far when it is suggested that we should not allow white people to play the part of white characters in such films and plays.